Number 4, Chrono Trigger. Now we're getting into the world-class stuff. For starters, just in case any of you watching don't know, let's discuss what this game actually is. Chrono Trigger is a turn-based RPG featuring an in-depth time travel plot where your decisions in one time can actively change what is happening in another. The general idea is that you discover that the world which you are a part of actually ends in your future in the year 1999, because of an attack from an evil creature called Lavos. It'll be up to Chrono and his group of allies to put a stop to this event, if they can, and save the world. The plot is amazing, and it is full of emotionally charged scenes. You'll be bombarded with memorable moment after memorable moment. The main cast of characters you meet will be important and will resonate throughout the entire journey.
Even this guy. Okay, fine. Maybe not that guy. This game isn't without its twists and turns either. One of them in particular was a huge moment that I never saw coming.
But just like was the case with Final Fantasy VI, telling you more about it would be a huge disservice to you. It's something that needs to be experienced. What I will say is that one of the biggest things that really helps the story have such tremendous character and power is the unbelievable soundtrack.
If you haven't played this game, well, you should of course work on that. But if you haven't heard this game, you need to change that. And I mean like, now.
Outside of the wonderful plot and music, there are many features which set this apart from your standard slew of RPGs from this era. One of which is the battle system itself. Simple, but not without strategy, the battle system has every character with 3 main options: attack, tech, or item. Attack and item are pretty straightforward, but the real treasures are hiding in that tech option. From there you can choose between one of however many techniques your character knows. These are things that can range from single target sword strike for extra damage, or a big blast of fire that hits every character on the screen. But what really spices things up are the game's dual and later earned triple techs. What this means is your party can actually combine their own unique abilities to create stronger and notably cooler looking attacks, or more powerful healing spells, or abilities that can confuse opponents.
The main point is that combining abilities is super cool, and you will definitely want to discover them all for yourself.
It is very exciting to see your characters come together and learn their first triple tech, where all active characters finally combine up for an extremely impressive move. The other cool thing to note about the battle system is that enemy positioning is also very important. Some attacks will hit a group of enemies that are close to each other, some all enemies in a horizontal line.
Some will be more useful for the flying Medusa heads from Castlevania.
Some only enemies that are close to your character, and so on and so forth. Enemies will wander around the screen, sometimes at random and sometimes with a certain level of predictability. So you want to learn what types of attacks you have and how the enemies are grouped when it's your turn. It's a very cool dynamic that can create some depth for how your fights turn out, rather than simply just blasting away with strong attacks for the entire game. One of the other major features which sets it apart is the fact that this game features no random battles.
This may not be a system that was first shown in Chrono Trigger, or even that was exclusive to Chrono Trigger, but it was still very uncommon at the time. You can see enemies walking around the map, and if you don't want to fight them, you simply walk around them.
There are some scripted fights and surprise battles, of course, but if you're just trying to walk through a forest to get to a castle, you never really have to fight against anyone. You'll want to fight against some enemies, of course, because how else are you going to be prepared to take down some of those bosses, or learn some of those awesome techs? One of the other things I found particularly impressive about this game is that there's so much diversity in terms of the fans' favorite characters. This game has a classic 3-member party system, but you won't be choosing who you do want to bring with you through the game. You'll be constantly making the actually difficult decision of who you're going to leave behind. And it's not easy. Every time I play this through, I end up using a completely different character setup. Every character in the game is somebody's favorite. Each character has a fleshed out storyline and a fully realized personality. And almost more surprisingly, every character is actually useful in battle.
Chrono Trigger is absolutely one of my favorite RPGs of all time. This is a game that flows fast and at a consistent pace. Like I said, it has no random battles, easily has one of the best soundtracks in gaming history, a fantastic story full of very likable characters, an amazing and just simple enough combat system that I wish more games would emulate, and is overall just an amazing experience from beginning to end.
What really seals the deal, though, on the list of my favorite games is a feature called New Game Plus. This game has a pretty involved and decently lengthy story, but New Game Plus allows you to play through the game at a much faster pace if you just want to enjoy the many great individual moments without having to do many extra battles or worry about items. You can just play through the entire game from the start with every character's items and stats from a previous playthrough. Just being able to do that would be great on its own, but the game actually encourages these replays by having many different endings depending on when you decide to take on the final boss. This makes doing repeated playthroughs very rewarding. There's a reason this game is not only my fourth favorite Super Nintendo game, but is also one of the highest quality games in all of gaming. If there is one RPG for any console that I can recommend to anyone who likes games, it is absolutely Chrono Trigger. Whoops. Turns out the video portion of this part is all sorts of corrupted, but the audio is good. Oh well. Alright, so Chrono Trigger was probably a pretty simple guess for you guys. This game is astoundingly good, well made, and just all around should be one of everyone's favorite games. It really does feel like a timeless classic that was extremely well received at the time and receives critical acclaim even to this day. So my question is, what critically acclaimed super hits do you feel like absolutely live up to the hype? For example, some people would feel that way about Ocarina of Time or Mario 64, where some people would, of course, disagree. It doesn't even have to be a retro game. It could be something like The Last of Us on PlayStation 3 or something like that. I just want to know what you guys feel like really earned those hype levels. So don't forget to click on all them social links down below, subscribe here on YouTube. Since there's no video portion of me, you can go ahead and click on the previous episode portion of this if you want to check out the Super Punch-Out video. Otherwise, if you're watching this when the number 3 video is out, just click on that Super Nintendo with the 3 over it or any of that black space, and you'll be able to watch the next video right now. Otherwise, we will see you again tomorrow for another video. I am Gimpy Fish, this is 62-Bit Gaming, thank you all for watching.